Hey there, and welcome to another episode of Tips and Tech Talk. I am your host, Ron, and today we're going to tackle a subject that I had no intention of making a video about. You see, this time last week I was a proud owner of a HERO GoPro 5, but if you follow me on Facebook, you might have noticed that I lost my GoPro while I was kayaking down the Clinton River. So here I am at Best Buy replacing that camera. So without further ado, let's go into Best Buy and replace that HERO 5 with a HERO6 Black. Now, before I get too much into talking about the HERO6, another thing that I found interesting inside Best Buy is their new Fusion that GoPro has just introduced. It's a 360 camera.
Yeah, so the Fusion is a 360 camera. It's the newest camera from GoPro. They have a better explanation.
Most creative tool ever made.
Let's stop talking about a camera I didn't purchase and talk about the HERO6 Black, which I did. Like I said, I could have purchased the HERO5 Black again, but the upgrades on the HERO6 were just too impressive for me to ignore. The HERO6 shoots in 4K 60 frames per second. It shoots at 1080 at 240 frames per second, which will give you some silky smooth slow-mo video. Another great thing, upgrade I like about the 6 over the 5 is its internal microphone. I'm not a fan of any internal microphone on a camera. You'll most times find me using an external microphone. Even on the ADD, I use an external microphone. So, but at the same time, very rarely will I be in a situation with my HERO6 where I'll be needing audio. If I need audio, I'll use a different mode. Very rarely, but that was a big thing for me is the internal audio. Plus, they have something new where you can zoom in on the shot in real time. So there's a lot of upgrades that the HERO6 Black has above the HERO5. But ultimately, the proof is in the pudding. So what do you say we take this camera out and give it a day in court? I have taken the liberty of purchasing a handler, so I will use it's kind of like a selfie stick. So we're going to take you along, and we're going to see what this camera, this HERO6 Black, can do. So from here on out, we'll be shooting our video with the HERO6 Black. So I got my HERO6 set up right here in my vehicle. So this will be the first perch, I guess, is my little tripod here in my truck. I am recording at 1080 at 30 frames per second, but some other things that I love about this camera is it shoots in 4K up to 60 frames per second. Shoots at 1080, as I mentioned, at 240 frames per second, and I mentioned those two, but there's some other cool little features in this GoPro as well. For example, it's stabilization. Which if you're in a mobile environment, you're using it in an action environment like riding a bike or a kayak, you want to use that stabilization, and it is way above the caliber that the HERO5. They changed stabilizations in the internal camera. It's just it's much smoother if you're not using a gimbal. So many reasons to like this GoPro, but as I mentioned, we're going to take it out. We're going to shoot a little bit with it, try the different settings. So another great feature that has been included in the last 2 or 3 versions of the GoPro is the linear mode. I think it made its debut in the HERO5, maybe the 4. But you know, a lot of times when you're shooting video with the GoPro, you get that fisheye lens, and you know, it just doesn't look like real video. It doesn't look real. It looks extorted in some cases. So one of the big perks about the HERO5 and now the HERO6 is the fact that they have the linear mode, and coupled that with the 1080 30 frames per second. This is what you're looking at me in that mode, the linear mode. So I could make it a little wider and you'd get more inside the vehicle. Really no need for that. If I was in an environment where there was a lot of water, a lot of landscape, maybe I'd use that wide angle. You know, for now in this situation, for most situations, I'm a real big fan of the linear setting. One of the big advantages and one of the upgrades that's been with the GoPro camera is to get it out of this case and actually make its actual its own body waterproof. So I don't need a case for this GoPro, and I can take it up to 30 feet underwater with no problems. Other upgrades on this camera is the ability to zoom in. Since the 5 came out, they had a backing on your GoPro. Now with the Hero 6, you can see what the camera sees, unlike the first 4 versions of the GoPro. So Hero 5 and Hero 6 have really been a big step up in a lot of different situations. But with the 6 now, the new little thing you can do is you can zoom in on the back of your camera, and it will actually zoom the camera in up to 50%, which is a very cool feature if you're recording in a certain situation. Another thing about the video quality is its increased improvement in low light situations. One of the things that I didn't like about my Hero 5 is its inability to recognize things in dark situations. The Hero 6 Black is said to have made a big improvement in low light situations, so that'll be one of the things that I test out. So enough talk about what this camera can do. What do you say we take this camera out for a walk and see what it will do? So one of my favorite things about the Hero 6, or the Hero 5 for that matter, is the camera's ability to Pro Tune. What is Pro Tune? It allows you to have flatter settings and control the settings so that you can color correct in post-production and make the video look so much better than what you're gonna get out of the camera. So while we're out here walking Bailey, I thought I'd get some more shots, this time in Pro Tune, so that you can see how this video will look after it's color corrected. As you can see out of the camera, it looks a little flat, this Pro Tune setting. However, when you put it in post and you color correct and add the settings afterwards in post, it looks much better. One thing I notice off the bat is that image stabilization works really, really well. The truth of the matter is if it had a better internal microphone, I would use this camera a lot more, but it's not going to take the place of my Canon ADD. It's not going to take the place of my XA10 or some of my other higher end cameras. But there are certain situations where this Hero 6 will come in handy, whether it be riding a bike, kayaking. I've actually been thinking about turning my GoPro and putting it on Bailey, putting it on my pooch, maybe make a Bailey cam. So that's the basics of the GoPro Hero 6 Black. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit that like icon, share it with all your friends. Also go to my YouTube channel, hit that bell icon to make sure you're notified when I make future videos if you haven't done so already. And of course, go to ronrobinsonstudios.com to see even more videos. Thanks for watching this episode of Tips and Tech Talk. We'll see you next time.